Hey there, history enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into the incredible story of Barnabas, one of the most influential and inspiring figures in early Christian history. You might have heard of him before, but his story goes way beyond being just a supporting character in Paul's adventures. Barnabas was truly a pillar of faith, a model of generosity, courage, and persistence. His journey is full of faith, support, and a tremendous commitment to spreading the message of Jesus, and I'm sure you'll find it inspiring. Let's start this journey back in time, shall we? First off, did you know that Barnabas didn't start with that name? He was originally known as Joseph, a man from Cyprus who stood out for his kindness and generosity. Picture him, in his homeland, living a quiet life, perhaps with a family and a career, until the moment when he encounters the revolution of Christianity, spreading like wildfire throughout the Roman Empire. But what makes him so special, and what's made him remembered today, was the name he received from the apostles. Barnabas, meaning son of consolation or son of encouragement. This already says a lot about the kind of person he was. Barnabas wasn't just a good man. He had something more. He had a huge heart. And that heart is what made him one of the pillars of the early church. From the beginning, Barnabas gave himself fully to the Christian cause, becoming one of the first followers of Jesus to help strengthen the new community of faith that was rising in Jerusalem. Now, imagine being at the start of a great mission with little infrastructure and many challenges. This is where Barnabas' generosity shines. He owned land and property, but instead of keeping it all to himself, Barnabas sold it and gave all the proceeds to the apostles, with the goal of helping those in need. This was no small thing at the time, and this act of selflessness was a powerful demonstration of faith. It was a radical gesture, wasn't it? He didn't just donate money. He also put his trust in the future of the Christian community. By doing this, Barnabas placed his life in God's hands, believing that what he was doing wasn't just a financial contribution, but a spiritual investment, something that would reflect Christ's love in practical ways. This act of generosity didn't go unnoticed. Barnabas didn't just talk about his faith, he lived it through his actions. And that's what makes him such a powerful figure in Christian history. He lived his faith in concrete ways. Now, Barnabas' story really starts to pick up momentum when he meets a man named Saul, or rather, Paul. And here begins one of the most exciting parts of Barnabas' story. To understand the impact of this, we need to rewind a little. Before he became one of the greatest apostles in the church, Paul was a fierce persecutor of Christians. He hunted them down, imprisoned them, and even killed those who followed the new faith. He believed he was doing the right thing. But everything changed when he had a direct encounter with Jesus on the road to Damascus, an event that completely transformed his life. He went from persecutor to follower. But here's the problem. The other Christians weren't ready to believe this change. How could they trust someone who had once hunted them down? How could they trust Paul now that he claimed to be a Christian? And that's where Barnabas comes in. He was the one who believed in Paul when no one else did. He was the bridge that connected Paul to the apostles. Barnabas had the courage to look beyond Paul's past. He didn't get stuck in the memory of Paul's persecution. On the contrary, Barnabas saw in Paul a genuine transformation and a passion for Christ's cause. He was Paul's advocate, introducing him to the apostles in Jerusalem and helping to establish his credibility. It was thanks to this trust that Paul began preaching and became one of the most influential figures in Christianity. Without Barnabas, Paul's story might have been very different. Once Paul and Barnabas teamed up, what happened next was nothing short of epic. Together, they embarked on several missionary journeys, spreading Christ's message across entire cities and regions. They faced persecutions, torture, death threats, and yet they remained firm in their mission. Barnabas and Paul traveled from city to city, preaching in synagogues, healing the sick, freeing the oppressed, and making disciples. Every city was a new challenge, but also a new opportunity to show Christ's love. And Barnabas was a steady force that kept their faith alive, always encouraging others, always urging the community to keep going even when things got tough. They passed through places like Antioch, Iconium, Lystra, and Derbe, In each of these places, they faced resistance, but also witnessed great miracles and conversions. And what's even more amazing is that even in the most extreme moments of hardship, Barnabas always remained firm in his role as the encourager. He believed in people. He believed in the mission. But Barnabas' story isn't all about victories and harmony. Like every great journey, there were challenges and moments of tension. One of those moments occurred when Barnabas and Paul disagreed about what to do with John Mark, who had abandoned the mission on a previous journey. Paul felt he couldn't be trusted, but Barnabas, as always, saw something in John Mark that no one else saw: a second chance. He believed in John Mark's potential, and it was for this reason that he made the decision to part ways with Paul and take John Mark with him. This division was a significant moment. It wasn't easy to go against someone like Paul, who would become one of the greatest preachers of Christianity. But Barnabas was never one to follow the crowd. He did what he believed was right, and he believed that everyone deserved a chance to start over. And guess what? The impact of Barnabas' decision was profound. John Mark, who had the chance to grow and mature under Barnabas' guidance, ended up becoming one of the greatest collaborators in Christianity. He was later recognized as the author of the Gospel of Mark, one of the 4 canonical Gospels. Without Barnabas' patience and encouragement, John Mark might have been left behind, but instead, he became a vital figure in spreading the Christian message. Barnabas' legacy isn't just in the great missionary journeys or in his partnership with Paul, but in the way he treated people. He was the kind of person who saw potential in others. He was the friend who gave you a chance to grow, even when everyone else turned their back on you. He wasn't seeking fame. He was seeking faith. He didn't want to be the center of attention. He wanted others to shine. And so, Barnabas fades from the biblical narrative, but his impact is everlasting. He wasn't the most talked about apostle, nor the most famous, but he was undoubtedly one of the most important. He was the encourager, the man who believed in the power of transformation, the man who saw the best in people, even when they couldn't see it in themselves. So, folks, did you enjoy this dive into the life of Barnabas? If you were inspired and want to learn more about figures like him, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, keep exploring the past to understand the present. See you soon.